The Lloydminster Lions Club are helping keep the feet of the less fortunate warm this Christmas season with their annual sock drive. The Lions Club collected over 1,500 socks this year. That's double the amount they were able to collect in 2020. Organizers thank the community for their generosity and say some churches and businesses in the city stepped up big, collecting a large number of socks.
They're much needed. We have a lot of traffic coming in and out of the center. A lot of the people that are, on the street or maybe at risk come into our center, and so we're very fortunate to be able to help them out with socks.
People have cold feet this time of year, and it's the weather, with the weather the way it is, and just knowing that getting a fresh pair of new socks makes a big difference.
This year, the socks will be distributed to several different local organizations, including the Salvation Army, the Men's Shelter, Interval Home, and the Native Friendship Center. The executive director of the Native Friendship Center says they're grateful for the donation as they've seen a spike in users this year.
We've really noticed an increase in traffic. People that we've never seen come into the center before that are accessing our services.
And now in the last Beyond the Classroom of 2021, our Jasmine King takes a look at how one local school is getting in the Christmas spirit at school and at home.
At Rendell Park School, students of all ages have been creating Christmas videos. Since they weren't able to have a normal Christmas concert this year, the videos they're creating allows the kids to still perform. Some of the classes have been filming in Rendell Park's green screen room, while others have been shooting and writing their own videos.
To see our students not just perform, but start to move from being just consumers of technology and of video to start to actually be creators. So they're not just commenting on someone else's video, they're making, and that's the real wonder and awesomeness of having kids use technology.
Each individual class has their own Christmas video, whether that be a music video or a scene out of a classic holiday movie. The school is thrilled that they can still have a way to connect with their parents this Christmas.
I'm just so thankful and very grateful that we're still able to provide a Christmas concert in a digital format that still allows us a way to connect with our families and to provide something fun for the holiday season. They absolutely love to perform. So as you can see, they're just right into it and are so happy that they're still able to do something for their parents.
Over the past few weeks, filming took place in and around the school, and once the editing of all the videos is complete, they will be sent to parents.
What we'll do is our concert committee will end up creating a link that will go out to all of our families. They'll be able to do some shares. They'll be able to even do a little download to keep their own videos. So it's all the goodness of a Christmas concert, and you don't have to record it yourself.
And that's it for this year's Beyond the Classroom. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
At Lakeland College, our students are challenged to go beyond the classroom, so when industry knocks, they're ready to thrive. Learn more at lakelandcollege.ca.
Our Shelby Clark chatted with MP Damien Currick of Battle River Crowfoot to speak on the highlights for 2021 and what's planned for next year.
Taking the time to speak with us today for Primetime Local News is Damien Currick, MP for Battle River Crowfoot. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Shelby. It's great to be with you again here today.
Of course. Thank you for being able to give us some of your time now. Now, I wanted to start off for this year-end interview to be able to speak about some of the highlights that you might remember throughout the year 2021 that you'd like to share.
Yeah, sure. I think that the first thing, especially being that there was a little bit of a surprise election that happened over the last year, it certainly is once again just truly an honor, one of the honors of my life to be able to represent the constituency of Battle River Crowfoot and the people of East Central Alberta. And I take that responsibility very, very seriously as we approach what are hopefully future opportunities and address the serious challenges that our region faces. So I think in terms of kind of the highlight, just having that true honor and privilege to be a representative, to be a member of Parliament, to represent the amazing people of Battle River Crowfoot truly is an incredible honor, and I take that responsibility seriously. You know, when it comes to over the past year, you know, in the midst of COVID, in the midst of some economic challenges, uh, folks in East Central Alberta have had, you know, a series of of challenges that they've had to overcome. But the amazing thing is, Shelby, is that each and every time they have risen to the challenge, whether it be small communities addressing situations where someone is in need, or if it's the just dealing with the challenges of the pandemic, helping those that are down and out, whether because of economic challenges, whatever the case is. You know, I think that there certainly is a lot to be hopeful for. Then when it comes to kind of the political side, you know, I think that you know, certainly many of the people that I speak with were disappointed about the national results of the election, but holding the Liberals to the status quo gives us a strong position to be an effective opposition. And over the last number of weeks, we've certainly endeavored to do that. Not to say that there's not significant frustrations, but certainly we are doing everything we can, myself and the Conservative team from across Alberta and Western Canada, to make sure that that the practical challenges of our folks are heard in our nation's capital.
And it's good to hear, you know, from what you've been saying, that you've seen lots of support throughout the year. Now, you know, time for my last question, of course, the classic one that I have for our year-end interviews is, what are your plans for next year that people should know about?
Yeah, great question. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is being appointed the Deputy Shadow Minister for Rural Economic Development and Rural Broadband Strategy. And really simply, when you get down to, you know, beyond what, you know, is a pretty long title that has to fit on a business card, it comes down to making sure that rural Canadians have a voice. And I'm very much looking forward to working with that Shadow Minister and a strong team to forward the concerns that are felt by my constituents, felt by Albertans, and felt by all Canadians when it comes to rural Canada, and to really, in terms of economic development, making sure that there is a strong strategy going forward to make sure that rural Canada is a part of Canada's economic future, to ensure that rural Canadians can not just continue to survive at the status quo, but rather that they are given everything they need to prosper. And so when it comes to moving forward, I'm really excited about that opportunity, and the fact that I not only get to continue fighting for the people that sent me to Ottawa, but to help fight for all rural Canadians across our country to see a strong future that includes rural Canada. So that's one thing. There's a few other things that I'm really excited to be working on. You'll have to stay tuned, but I've heard time and time again that Canadians are especially Albertans, rural Albertans, are frustrated with the status quo of representation and whatnot. And I know with the report that adds I think 3 seats to Alberta and a boundary redistribution, making sure that our democracy is responsive to the needs of the people that I represent. Really excited to be working on a whole host of things related to that, but you'll have to stay tuned. So that's just a little bit of a teaser. Excited to unveil some of that stuff in the year to come.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Damien. Thank you for giving us your time and giving those wonderful answers.
Thank you, Shelby, and may I wish you and all of your listeners all the very best in this new year. There's I believe a reason to be optimistic. I am a natural optimist, but certainly I do believe that there's lots of reason to be optimistic. So all the best in this year to come.
And now it's time to go over to Shelby Clark for a first look at your weather forecast.
Thanks so much, Jason. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast for here in the border city, we are sitting at -9 degrees, and you know, with that wind chill, it does feel like -17, so it's still a nicer temperature, but it did feel a little bit cooler, especially with those periods of snowfall throughout the day. But we are expected to get around 2 to 4 centimeters of some snow, so it's not too heavy, and hopefully everybody is able to still drive safe out there. But now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, most are seeing around -9 degrees on the map. Edmonton is at -8, while down in Provost and Wayne Wainwright, they're at -6, -7, and then as we go a little bit further up there, -12 in St. Paul and Cold Lake, while Bonnyville and Lac La Biche are at -10, -11 degrees. Switching over to the Saskatchewan side now here, they're seeing some slightly cooler temperatures, especially up in the Isle La Crosse, Green Lake area there, with -15 in Isle La Crosse, -13 in Green Lake and Meadow Lake, while Pearson is at -12, -11 down in St. Walburg, and Maidstone and Macklin are slightly warmer at -7, -8 degrees, and North Battleford is at -10. But for North Battleford, overnight they will be going down to a low of -13. Today, of course, they've been seeing those periods of snowfall throughout the day as well, but it will kind of ease later on in the evening, and they'll be seeing a little bit more cloud coverage. And tomorrow they'll be seeing a nicer temperature at -7, and they will be seeing some snowfall start again in the morning there. Switching over to Cold Lake, overnight they'll be going down to a low of -14, so they'll be seeing slightly cooler temperatures. That snowfall will continue throughout the night and into tomorrow. We'll be seeing -12 for their temperature throughout the day. And for here in the border city, we'll be going out to a low of -12 degrees with a little bit of cloud coverage as well. Tomorrow we'll be seeing -10, so not bad of a temperature, but we will be seeing some snowfall continue on throughout the morning. And now showing off some of your photo submissions here. Thank you to everyone that submitted to our Facebook page some nice weather photos. Even my coworker Jay said he saw this in the sky yesterday, so thank you to Trevor who submitted this. This is a great shot that you caught there, and I know it wasn't there for that long, so thank you for submitting this. And for anybody else, you can submit some weather photos. I will be using them on my weather segments, but that's all I got for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Welcome back. As the Agriculture Minister of Saskatchewan, David Merritt, had quite the year helping farmers navigate this year's drought. Jillian Coates sat down with him for his thoughts on the past year in agriculture. Here's the interview.
Today on Primetime Local News' Agriculture Year in Review, I am joined by Minister of Agriculture for the province of Saskatchewan, David Merritt. So, Mr. Merritt, my first question is just describe Agriculture 2021 in a couple sentences.
I guess probably a year that we don't want to see again to some degree with the not only the severity of the drought, but the scale of the drought as well. It wasn't conducive to a certain area of the province, and it wasn't conducive just to the province of Saskatchewan either. It was not only Western Canada, but it was also the Midwest United States too as well. So that would be the easiest way to sum it up.
So 2020 exports for agri-food in the province were up 31% compared to 2019. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans this year. Do you know just how much the export numbers will change from 2020 to 2021?
Well, I think 2020 was obviously very high with the production at over 39 million metric tons. There was a lot of carryover of that crop into this year. That's probably going to help a lot of farmers as well. So the production is going to be, down significantly this year. It's probably going to be well under 30 million metric tons. We don't have the final numbers yet, but that's kind of what we're seeing it. But I mean, also, the positive side is the price side is way up. So that's obviously helping the farmers as well.
And as you said, the drought also impacted livestock producers. Do you know if that impacted any cattle sales within the province of Saskatchewan?
I think it did to some degree. But I think when we came out with the $200 a head payment for the livestock producers, it really slowed things down, in my estimation anyway, that we saw some producers saying, okay, now they had the resources to go and try and find feed. I think the other thing we did is on the crop insurance side in raising those thresholds, doubling the thresholds for write-offs. We saw a lot of grain farmers that were in crop insurance write off some poor crop and sell it to a livestock producer as well. So we did see that. So I think that kind of mitigated a lot of the sell-off of the livestock sector, and that's what we were really trying to do. We're obviously trying to build our livestock sector, so we just wanted to make sure that we could try and hold some of it. We know some are going to have to be sold, but I think we eliminated some a big sell-off.
And a frustrating year for farmers, absolutely. That's also met with a rise in talking about mental health. I know the Saskatchewan does have a farmers mental health line. Do you know how often was that used?
Right. And it's a great tool to just assist farmers and ranchers or anybody out there that's in the ag industry that's really coping with challenges and stress and things like that. So it's just an opportunity for them to reach out to somebody, in a professional manner that can help communicate. And I think that's the big thing we're really trying to stress is talk to somebody, and it's all in strict confidence, and it's just a way for people to communicate and just talk about their problems. It's kind of ironic. We just came home from the FPT federal ministers meeting last week, and mental health was talked about, and it's on our agenda just about every meeting we have. So it's an issue right across the country. We know it is, and farmers and ranchers are a proud bunch. They try and get through things themselves. We always say we're a resilient group, and we are. But sometimes we just have to talk to somebody, and I encourage anyone that if they're have depressed or having some concerns or challenges, to please reach out to somebody.
And looking back over the year, what stands out for you?
I think the announcements. I think the announcements that we saw in this province in the ag sector were phenomenal. They really were. When we see, major global companies making huge investment announcements into this province, it's really a feel-good story for the province and for the ag sector. When Viterra is going to build the largest canola crush facility in the world. Richardson's out of Winnipeg is doubling their expansion in Yorkton. We got Cirrus down at the international border building one, and we have Cargill building a facility here in the Regina area as well. But that's what really is the crux. But there is so much investments from companies in this province. When you just look at all of it, there's grain terminals being built. Grain millers doubled their capacity in Yorkton, and we've got Red Leaf building the straw board plant here. A $350 million plant. It just is. It's good news to talk about, and it really is a story we have to be very proud of. To see this kind of investment, these companies are making these sound investments on strategies on long-term investments here in the province, and it's good news for the people of the province.
Mr. Merritt, thank you so much for your time today.
You bet, Jill. Anytime.
And now here are your agriculture prices for today. Continuing to wrap up the year, sports was no exception to the struggle seen in 2021. For the first half of the year, Lakeland College athletics had to take a seat on the bench. Evan Kenny has more on the difficulties college sports saw this past year.
Well, after a 2020-21 season where we did not see ACAC sport, Lakeland College is back at it with the athletics. Soccer already finished up. Currently ongoing is volleyball and basketball. Joining me to break all these down is athletic director Al Rogan. Al, thank you very much for taking this time. Now starting things off here, I guess just describe 2021 from a Lakeland College athletics perspective.
Yeah. I thought last year was challenging with teams not being able to play, but you kind of controlled your own destiny, your own institution. It was tough on the student athletes and tough on our coaching staff, and it was tough all around. But this year is a different type of tough. You're trying to make sure that everybody's in line with all the expectations and regulations between the two provincial governments as far as health goes, and then with our institutions. But our teams, our student athletes, our coaches have been fantastic this year. They understand it's not a normal year, I guess, if you can call it that. But they've been working really hard to be successful in this new world that we're in right now. So it's been challenging at times, but it's been rewarding too, because once when they got to play their first regular season games, you just saw this big exhale of energy or of air, and they're going, "My God, we're finally here and we're playing." So it's been a long haul for a lot of people, but now that we're playing again, the coaches and the athletes are just kind of getting back into a groove again, where it's getting closer to normal, I guess, if we can ever get back to normal. So.
Now, like I said, the school did have that year off of competition. For yourself, were you able to see coaches, players, different staff just itching to get back after it?
Yeah, it's that this nervous anxiety, nervous anticipation, where everybody is looking forward to that next step to competition, but they're just not 100% confident it was going to come. So, that goes from our spectators who have been extremely patient because we weren't allowed spectators in our gym till probably a couple weeks before the season started. So, parents and our great fans that have been coming to all of our games over the years, they were, hoping that we're going to be able to allow them to come in person, which we are now, from our students, our faculty, all of our staff, and our student athletes and coaches, right? It's just that we're finally there and we're finally playing now. So we've got some games in our belt and we're taking it one step at a time. So first semester will be over, and then we're going to work towards, getting through the second semester and then hopefully into the playoffs. And then, it'd be great if we could make nationals again, especially, for our women's basketball team. We were kind of cheated a little bit by COVID the last time around, right? So, we're taking it a step at a time, and everybody's kind of collectively holding their breath to get to the next step. And then we get there, a little bit of air comes out, and we just move forward. So, but everybody's been fantastic. Everybody understands that it's just different this year, and we're doing everything we can to create this positive student athlete experience and a positive experience for all those spectators and fans we have.
Now, Al, soccer was the first sport to start and to wrap up their season. Both Rustlers teams had quite the seasons. I guess just take a moment and talk about those.
Absolutely. Our women's soccer program, we'll start with them. They probably had the most successful season competitively we've had ever with a women's program. We short season, and going into it, the team knew it was going to be a short season, but they worked really hard, and they made it into the second round of the playoffs. And they battled hard, but they played a really tough team in that semifinal North game, and respectable finish. They so definitely building blocks for next year in a very young team. I think we had 2 or maybe 3 vets back on the entire squad. So an incredible performance by the young ladies and our coach there, Lath, who was awarded Coach of the Year. So it was a really great season for the gals. On the guys' side, I guess if you would look at the beginning of the year, we're looking at a really young squad as well. A lot of rookies coming in and just understanding our culture here at Lakeland. And, Coach Wagner did a great job with those guys getting to buy into what our Lakeland philosophy was. And, all the way through to the bronze medal game of the ACAC, and we got to host it. And heartbreak, I guess, because they ended up losing in PKs at the end, but nothing to drop their head about. They had a great season. They played incredibly well, and when you boil down to a bronze medal based on PKs, it was just a great season for them. So really, really proud of both those teams. They definitely did Lakeland proud this year for sure.
And Lakeland College is filled with dominant women's programs. Currently, 3 coaches are reigning Coach of the Year: Laith Matlick with the women's soccer team, as well Austin Dyer in women's volleyball, and Chris King with women's basketball, just because of that year off. Not very often that you see that for one program. What's it been like as the athletic director, just getting to see these programs really hit that upper echelon of the league?
Yeah, it's been great to watch over time. I think a lot of it has to do with continuity of the coach and remaining at Lakeland for a number of years. We've been very fortunate to retain a lot of our coaches over a number of years. And I think once coaches are in a community for a period of time or with a program, they build a culture, and then students come to play for that coach and in that culture. And then you're able to build a team and a program. I think when a lot of coaches start, they're trying to build a team, and teams go from year to year, where if you build a program, you have where we are now with a lot of our Rustler programs is they're now consistent from year to year to year, and they improve, and they don't drop and rise every single year. They have this consistent, slow growth process, which if we look at volleyball, and now Chris with our women's basketball team, they're slowly getting to that level where they're competing for a medal almost every year, and they're maintaining that. They're not going to win every year, but they're constantly battling for a medal, which helps out in all regards, from recruiting right through to the cultural pieces of the programs at Lakeland. So really proud of the programs, proud of the leadership there, as I am with all of our programs. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to build a winning program, but also to maintain and sustain that. It's a ton of effort, and I know our coaches put in a lot of time to create that right culture and to continue to sustain that winning mindset through everything they do.
Al, thank you very much for taking this time and joining me. I look forward to seeing more Lakeland Rustler sports coming up after the winter break.
And now here's Shelby Clark with another look at your weather forecast.
Thanks so much, Jace. Now taking another look at your weather forecast, we'll be looking at the central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, we're still seeing some slightly warmer temperatures compared, -8 in Red Deer and Edmonton, while it's -7 degrees in Rocky Mountain House and Edson, -4 in Jasper, so Jasper seeing slightly warmer temperatures right now. Whitecourt is at -9, while Athabasca is at -11. Switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing some slightly cooler temperatures, but not too bad there. Cold Lake and Prince Albert at -12 degrees, -10 in North Battleford and Saskatoon, while Meadow Lake is at -13, and Melfort there is the coolest at -14. Switching over to our northern region of the provinces, as you can see, they are seeing a lot cooler temperatures, especially in the northern region. -16 in Loche and Buffalo Narrows. La Ronge is at -18 degrees, while Flin Flon is at -19, and the rest have definitely cooled down quite a bit, passing that -20 mark with -22 in South End, -26, -27 in Uranium City and Wollaston Lake, while Stony Rapids have even reached -35. So very cool in Stony Rapids there. Switching over to this side here, usually in this area especially, they see some slightly warmer temperatures, but they have been cooling down quite a bit as we head more into the winter season here. Slave Lake is at -11, while it is -13 in Grand Prairie, -14 in Peace River, while they're cooling down quite a bit up in Fort McMurray at -19, -17 in High Level, and Fort Chipewyan is at -26. Switching over to our southern region here. Oh, sorry, having some technical difficulties. Jace is helping out over there. Hopefully we'll be able to switch here, but for right now, yes, still in the northern region they have cooled down quite a bit compared to the central. Sorry, we're still having some technical difficulties. Might have to toss the break if we, nope. We're good. Thanks so much, Jace. You got it. Okay, now we're in the southern region here. You can see they're not struggling too much, still in those plus temps with +5 in Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. Banff is slightly cooler at 1 with 2 in Calgary, and Coordination has passed that minus mark at -6. And over on this end here, most are sitting at -7 degrees with -12 in Yorkton, and Swift Current is just hitting that 0 mark. But now as we go back across the region to temperatures overnight tonight, we are cooling down quite a bit. We're still seeing some slightly warmer temperatures as well compared to what we've been seeing last week. Wainwright will be seeing a low of -12, while it'll be a low of -13 in Unity, a low of -14 for Paradise Hill and Murnum and Bonnyville, while Provost and Pearson will be seeing a low of -15, and Meadow Lake and Isla Cross will be seeing -17, -20 for their low throughout the night, but most spots will be seeing some flurries throughout the night as well. And seeing temperatures tomorrow across the region, we will be cooling down just a bit, ranging from around -10 to -13 in most spots. North Battleford, Maidstone, and Macklin will be seeing some slightly warmer temperatures at those single-digit points with -7, -9. And now ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the Border City. We'll be seeing some flurries continue on through Thursday and Friday, and just in time for the holidays, 'tis the season. We'll be seeing our coolest day on Saturday with -25, just in time for Christmas. Ending off the weekend with -25 with some more flurries as well. And we'll be continuing that cold point through next week, starting on Monday with -27 degrees. So make sure you're driving safe, bundling up outside, and Tuesday and Wednesday will warm up to -10. That's another look at your weather forecast. Well, more coming up after the break.
Joining us for Primetime Local News is Ash Tebalt with United Way Lloydminster here. Thank you so much for giving the time to speak with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, no problem. So I just wanted to start off, of course, for these year-ender interviews to be able to ask, for 2021, what were some highlights that you remember that you'd like to share?
We had several this year. We rolled out a new program with the Olive Tree to help families with health and prescription drug program. It's starting this year. We've committed to the next couple years as well. We're looking at a mental health program, which will be specifically for Lloydminster and area, which we're hoping will be announced fairly soon. It's a large commitment on our end as well.
And now for the opposite of that, of course, for 2021, what were some of the challenges that United Way Lloydminster had to overcome?
Really, the pandemic was one of the biggest challenges, of course. Not being able to see a lot of people or interact a whole pile. It's made fundraising a real challenge on our end. We did have our breakfast day this year, which was excellent, very well attended. Lots of people enjoyed that. We hope to keep building on that success as the years come forward. We're also trying to do our 50-50 right now, which is online. You can get right through our website and donate for that. Other than that, that's the biggest challenge we've had.
Now, does United Way Lloydminster already have some plans on the go ready for next year?
Yeah, we're, as I mentioned earlier, the mental health initiative we're hoping to roll out here fairly soon. We're trying to look at some new fundraisers, and we're always open to ideas if people have them. One of the ideas we're kind of toying with a little bit is trying to do like a chili cook-off or something like that. Other than that, we're just looking forward to supporting all our member agencies locally in town. And all the money that we do raise does stay in the community.
Now, with United Way experiencing 2021 with all the issues they've had to overcome, especially with the pandemic, of course, and seeing that strong support from residents, is there a lesson or a message you've kind of learned from the year so far?
Yeah, it's been interesting. With the pandemic and everything, people are still supporting us very well, which is really encouraging to see. It's also enabled us to support people back. And I think as long as people haven't lost sight that there is those that need help, as one big group, we sure seem to reach a lot of people. And I'm quite proud of that.
Perfect. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Ash.
Thank you. Have a great day.
I'm currently joined by Mayor of Cold Lake, Mr. Craig Copeland. So Craig, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
So looking back at the last year in Cold Lake, I wanted to open with something somewhat recent, which has to do with your re-election back in September. So as you progress into your 5th term at the helm of this city, I was just wondering if you had any priorities or things you're excited about heading into 2022.
Well, if a person had a magic wand, I would get rid of COVID, but it has. Hopefully we can get that the virus under control and move forward, because it really has impacted not only our community but everybody across the world. So hopefully, in 2022 we can move forward. We've got a lot of exciting projects in terms of construction and try to stimulate the economy. We did that back in 2021. We put a lot of money out there for projects, hoping not only local businesses, construction companies would get the work, which they did. A lot of them were successful, but just to put a lot of money towards, a lot of different projects in the city. And we're going to continue that going forward in 22. We have some major road work that we got to do on what's called Lakeshore Drive, which is right along the marina. Our bank there is sort of falling into the water. So we've got to stabilize that, fix the underground, so water and sewer on that location. So that'd be a big project. And of course, we're going to try to start our public workshop. And because our staff do an amazing job. Recently with this huge snowfall, they just hit it out of the park with our contractors, and we want to start putting money and start building our new public workshop. So it's sort of this start of 22, and we've engaged a company to work with the community in terms of a vision for the aquatic center. So that'll be a big project in 22, is to engage the user groups and the community and kind of what do they want to see in a pool. And then council will have to figure out how do we afford it.
And though you did mention some of the pandemic-related hurdles from the last year, I was just wondering if you could draw on some specific challenges that we're seeing within Cold Lake.
Well, I think everybody is, of course, concerned about getting COVID. Our vaccination rates are lower than the provincial average, but people got to realize our community is really young. We're 24% of our community is 14 and under. So there has been a lot of hesitation about getting vaccinated. We realize that. it's up to people's choice on getting vaccinated. So of course, right now, unfortunately, our numbers are quite high per capita in the province for COVID, and hopefully that can come down. There's a lot of restrictions in place. How it's impacted the community, certainly the business communities really took it on the chin. Our hotels and our food businesses, retail, it's been tough on everybody, but certainly the food industry and hotels, I would say, are struggling. And also there's a big, huge issue with manpower. We're just not getting enough people out there working in the soft service industry. And so the food industry, they're looking at just opening up drive-through because they just cannot have enough staff to have walk-in. And so it's a struggle right now to get help. I think we really need to look at the foreign worker program and open that spigot up again and get foreign workers to come into our community. I mean, Cold Lake has an amazing amount of Filipino community here, and we also have other nationalities that are here in Cold Lake working, and they just love it, and we love them. And I think the province needs to really open up that and get more workers here to our community. But right now the oil industry seems to be trying to put their money towards share buybacks, their debt, and we're not seeing a huge amount of money in terms of new development in the oil patch. But I think that 2022 that'll happen. And our big project that we're looking forward to in soon here is going to be the federal government, the new fighter jet. I think that in 2022, let's get our men and women a new plane for our country. They've been flying that plane for many, many years. And I think they're long overdue to identify what plane we're going to have for our country and move forward.
Then, to close things off with a bit of a positive, open-ended question, I was just wondering if you could touch base on some of your maybe favorite memories or just positives from the last year within Cold Lake.
I think our council last term put a lot of files to bed. We had a lot of issues with sort of municipal funding in terms of the air weapons range, or ID 349. And that concluded with our MLA and with the Minister of Municipal Affairs on a long-standing agreement now between ourselves, the MD of Bonnyville, the town of Bonnyville, and the village of Glendon. And it's a unique deal. The air weapons range is now amalgamated into the MD of Bonnyville, and money will be flowing from that area into the 3 municipalities. And so it's really exciting that file is now put to bed. And then we've done our ICF, the Intermunicipal Collaboration Framework, with the MD of Bonnyville. And so that provides funding into our city for recognizing MD residents' impact on our community. So, that file's finished. And then, of course, the big one was the water line. It was the largest provincial money spent in this part of the area. And so now there's fresh Cold Lake drinking water going out all the way down town of Bonnyville, and for others now can tap into the line. It's been identified for 100,000 people can be on that Cold Lake water. And so that project completed. And so, a lot of files got completed last term, and now council has to reset and maybe look at champion certain causes. One of them, of course, will be Highway 28. I call it the Forgotten Highway. And we really need to at least establish passing lanes from Edmonton to Cold Lake on Highway 28.
Thanks so much for your time, Craig.
Now ending off with taking another look at your 7-day forecast. Here Thursday, we will be seeing some more snowfall with -10, and then we'll be cooling right down just in time for the holidays at -22 Friday, -25 Saturday. So please make sure you're driving safe if you are heading home for the holidays anywhere on those roads. Ending off Sunday with -25 with some more snowfall heading into next week, and then we'll be continuing that cold pattern on Monday next week with -27 to start off the week. So we are going to be starting off very chilly. Make sure you are bundling up outside and plugging in your vehicles during the night. And Tuesday we'll be seeing -10, but we will be seeing a low of -36 on Tuesday. So it'll be still very cold when we'll be seeing some more snowfall that day as well. And Wednesday we'll see a mix of some sun and cloud at -10 as well.
Thanks for that, Shelby, and thank you for joining us for Primetime Local News. Have a good night.